useful techniques which you'll learn in this recording. Next, the most likely reason for your failure to remember the name of someone you've been introduced to is that you may not have heard it properly in the first place. Our short-term memory is very fragile, and unless you deliberately rehearse information by repeating it out loud, it will disappear in less than 30 seconds, gone forever. Another problem is that when you meet new people, your attention is usually drawn more to their appearance or behaviour than to their name, so you end up failing to register it in your mind. The best way to overcome this problem is to make sure you repeat a person's name aloud when you first hear it. A useful practical tip here is to say the name as you shake hands with the person. For example, "Pleased to meet you, Alison." Another strategy in this situation, especially if the person's name seems unusual, is to ask how to spell it. These techniques have two advantages. First, repeating information out loud is a good way of maintaining it in short-term memory, which is why we tend to rehearse new phone numbers to ourselves before we dial them. But more importantly, making an effort to learn people's names correctly is a valuable compliment to them. After all, one of the sweetest words to our ears is the sound of our own name. Although the three difficulties we've mentioned may cause some mild inconvenience or embarrassment, they're not usually serious. However, concentration lapses can often produce more damaging effects, ranging from car crashes to nuclear accidents and plane crashes, not to mention missed penalties in cup finals. These examples show that learning to concentrate effectively could mean the difference between life and death. And as our lives become more complex and competitive, the demands placed on our concentration system will increase significantly. This is true especially for people such as students, business people, and sports performers. But if you believe that losing your concentration is bad, just imagine how much worse it could be if you didn't realise it had gone in the first place. Imagine staring at a sentence on a page for hours on end, literally lost in thought. This recording will explore concentration in 3 stages. Firstly, we shall explain what concentration is, show you how it's influenced by your attitudes and emotions, and give you some practical tips to improve your listening and reading skills. Secondly, we shall help you to analyse and deal with common distractions in your life. Finally, we shall present some practical focusing strategies, which will help you to improve your concentration in a variety of daily situations. As you listen to this recording, it may prove useful if you keep a pen and notepaper handy. And since you wish to improve your concentration skills, we suggest that you should stop the recording from time to time in order to refocus on your specific objectives. To make this easier for you, we've included some short breaks and exercises in the recording. In this way, you'll get maximum benefit from this audio presentation. I'll hand you over now to Professor Aidan Moran, who is a Professor of Cognitive Psychology and Director of the Psychology Research Laboratory in University College, Dublin. Aidan is an expert in the use of psychological techniques which can improve people's concentration and performance in academic and sporting situations. Aidan.
The main message of this recording is that concentration is a skill, just like driving a car or reading a book, which you can improve with proper training and practice. But you won't learn anything by sitting passively waiting for improvements to happen. You must develop an active, questioning attitude. Remember, the only people who will never learn are those who never try. And you can begin by taking responsibility for what happens inside your mind. For example, notice the difference between saying, "Something distracted me," and "I allowed myself to become distracted." In the first case, you've made an excuse which will prevent you from learning, but in the second case, you'll be more motivated to change your behaviour simply because you've accepted some responsibility for letting your mind wander. So, in order to take control of your mind, you should stop making excuses and start changing your outlook. As sports psychologists say, winners make goals, only losers make excuses.